Hey there, everyone. Thanks very much indeed for taking the time to check out this really quick presentation I've put together just on remote working, the mindset that comes along with it, and also some of the tools that's at your disposal for it. Okay. So, what am I going to cover in this very brief presentation? So, I'm just going to do a very brief intro who I work for and kind of like, my background with remote working. Then I'm going to go into the mindset for working remote, which is key to for it to be able to succeed, but also for you to just kind of make the best out of it and for you to be able to work to the best of your ability. And then I'll go into some free tools that are at your disposal as well. Okay. So with that, guys, who am I? So my name is Enda Regan, and I'm a team lead at Shopify, and I have been working remotely with Shopify for about 4 years now. So, for anyone who doesn't know, Shopify is an e-commerce platform, and we have over 400 employees based in Ireland. And the most interesting element of Shopify is that Shopify is one of the only companies in Ireland who has a 100% distributed workforce. So, what that means is that absolutely everyone who works for Shopify in Ireland works from home. Everyone is remote. So, we don't have a physical office or a HQ or anything like that based in Ireland. Absolutely everyone is remote. So with that, naturally, for doing this for 4 years, there's a few things that I've learned myself over the time that will, I hope, add a bit of value to you and that you'll just kind of see exactly yourselves how you can make the best out of remote working. With that as well, I'm heavily involved with an organization called Grow Remote. So, as you might be able to assume yourself, Grow Remote, its whole aim is to promote remote working in Ireland. Okay. So, I highly recommend for anyone who's interested to go to growremote.ie. And in there, you will actually see a whole host of local chapters. Okay. So, there's a chapter based in Boyle, for example, in Sligo, in Roscommon, in Carrick and Shannon. And what these chapters are is basically kind of an online location where people can come together who work remote and to kind of share any tips and tricks or if you have any questions or anything like that, that you'll be able to go and get good information from people who work remotely in your area. Okay. So please do go to Grow Remote, check it out, look at the local chapters. You'll be able to see the online portal that is available there to sign up to local chapters. You can put in so many questions that you may have or anything like that. So if you do have the time, please do check it out. So moving on to mindset. So the first and most important thing to think about working remotely is that the only thing that is different from working in a typical office environment is that the location is different. That is it. That is literally the only thing that has changed. You're still going to have to do your normal day-to-day work and everything that is expected of you in your role, but like it's just the same as anything else, just the location is different. So there's a few things here, guys, that as I've said, I have found myself that really helps to make the best of it and to absolutely get the most out of remote working. So the first thing I always recommend, guys, is keep your routine. Okay. So whatever routine that you have, if you're used of getting up at 7 in the morning or whatever time it is and whatever time you start work, continue with that routine for two reasons. The first reason is that you're going to work with your body clock and work with what your body is used to. And second from that, when you do get back to your office environment, if you do work full time in an office, then it won't seem foreign to you. It won't be like when you were when everyone was on school holidays and when as soon as the holidays were over, it was nearly impossible to get up in the morning. Okay, so please do keep the routine. So if you get up at 7 in the morning until the time you start work, like go do a workout, go for a walk outside, put on a wash, put away clothes, empty the dishwasher. There's a whole host of things that you could do, which then eventually actually does free up time for you in the evening as well. Okay. So always do try and hold on to your routine and the routine that you do have, and you will notice the benefit of it. From there, guys, this next one might seem super, super obvious, but it's something that when people start working remotely, they can fall into the trap of opening the laptop in the bed, for example, or staying in their PJs for the entire day. So, what I always recommend, guys, is just get dressed as normal. Okay. So, when you're up, when you kind of get up in the morning, get dressed, make the bed, keep in that routine, but do get dressed. Okay. Because I noticed it myself. I could start my morning, open my laptop, I'd be in a pair of shorts and a pair of flip flops, and not until a couple hours later, when I decided to get dressed, only then did I notice that I was actually ready to get going on my day. It's just a mindset that goes with getting dressed. So just do get up, get out of bed, put on your normal clothes as you normally do, and it's amazing the difference that that makes. Okay, so that seems like such a normal and obvious one, but as I say, guys, it's something that can have a massive impact. The next one is critically important. Okay, so have a dedicated space. Okay, so A lot of people, or some people, should I say, might have the luxury of having a desk or a chair already set up in their house. But if you don't, like, take a corner of the kitchen table or take over the kitchen table, have a dedicated space where you can go and do your work. There's a couple of reasons for this. One of the main ones that I always say is that when I first started working remotely, I actually didn't have an office space in my house set up yet. So I was actually working from the couch. And even just on a physical element, it's not good for your back to be sitting on the couch all day with your laptop on your lap, and that kind of stuff. So even on that element, it just have a dedicated space where you can make your own, make it comfortable. You know what I mean? Put a few plants on the table, which or something like that, or a lamp or something like that, just to make it feel your own, okay, and put your own spin on it. So as well as with having a dedicated space, you have somewhere to go to, if that makes sense, okay? Because if you're just working around the house, you're kind of dotted in a couple of locations. You might work in the kitchen for a while or the sitting room, and then it's a different places. So I always recommend just having a dedicated space because you have that one place where you feel this is my work zone, okay? And one of the biggest advantages of having a dedicated space comes at the end of the day. Okay, so a lot of people, when they do start working remotely, they do kind of find it hard to switch off. So what I always recommend, as I said, have the dedicated space because when you finish your day, you can close your laptop, leave that space, and that is work finished. Okay, so work is in one part of the house, and when your day is done, you could go off and leave that. Okay, so that's a really, really, really key point. So as I said, have a dedicated space. If you're lucky enough to have a desk or chair in your house already, fair play. But as I said, take a corner of the kitchen table or just take over the kitchen table, but have that space that so where it feels as natural as possible or as naturally close to an office as you can get. Okay. The next 2 points here, guys, kind of fall into each other, but again, key is exercise and breaks. Okay, so first one I'll mention is actually breaks. Okay, so take a break every hour. That's what I do myself. Just get up, just get out from the desk for 5, 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Go get a drink of water, put on the kettle again. Go outside, get a breath of fresh air, throw a toy around for the dog or something like that. You know what I mean? Just every hour to break it up, okay? Because that personally works for my workflow, that it allows me to come back to my desk and to be motivated for the next hour to get what I need to get done. Okay. Then with that, exercise is key, guys, as well, because one of the things that you will notice just kind of being around home all the time, you can like lose a little bit of that routine that you might have had. So as I said, keep the routine, but do your exercise as well. So like when you finish your day, go for a walk, go for a run, do what you do yourself. Even if you have weights or something like that in your office, even when you take your 10-minute break, kind of pump a few weights for 10 minutes or something like that. It's just key to keep the body active and it will keep your mind active too. Okay. So with that, guys, it's just those two are absolutely key for success. Just a bit of exercise and take regular breaks. It's the same kind of thing as always. Okay. And even just on the other side, guys, like, the one thing you will find when you're working from home, naturally, you don't have a manager staring down the back of your neck or wondering what you're doing or anything like that. So you can really take as many breaks as you want as long as you're getting your work done. You know what I mean? So it's entirely up to yourself. So this brings me nicely on to my next point is to put is with the mindset. It's just how you look at it. Okay. So like working remotely, it's actually an opportunity for you to set your workflow. Okay. And really hammer down what works for you. Okay. So you can, like, as I said, my workflow really works in the sense of I will work for an hour, take 10 minutes. And that really, really works for me. But I know if I was in an office environment doing that, I might kind of feel as if people are looking at me kind of, oh, he's up out of his desk again. You know what I mean? Or it just, is he ever sitting down or stuff like that. So as a result of that, when you were working in an office environment, you are kind of held to some of the ideas of what others might have in the office, if that kind of makes sense. So this is a massive opportunity for you to set your workflow that works for you, how you work and how you work well. So if you're the kind of person who needs to take a break every hour, go and do it because you will be more productive when you come back. So with that as well, it's because you're alone and you can concentrate and you don't have people around you annoying you, then this is an opportunity for you to think, right, well, I wanted to change up how I do presentations, or I wanted to change up how I format my documentation, how I send it to people. I want to change my digital signature, various kind of stuff like that. So this is a great opportunity for you to really set your workflow. And as I would kind of like one of the main points with remote working, guys, is that the first week or two, it is quite difficult just to get into the swing of things. But after the second week, believe me, you will be in the swing of things. You will find your workflow, you will find your rhythm. And with this, guys, when you find that workflow and find that rhythm that really, really works for you, then you will find yourself being more productive. Okay. I can genuinely put my hand on my heart and say that a lot of the tasks and the to-dos that I have down, what I could get done in a morning, working remotely, easily constitutes what I would get done in a full day in an office environment because I don't have people coming up around me or there isn't many distractions and stuff like that. So distractions are at a minimum, but also because you have absolutely hammered down your workflow. You know exactly how you work and how you work well. So this remote working remotely is a fantastic opportunity for you to be way more productive and find a way that works for you instead of being kind of dictated to around the culture in the office, if that makes sense. So with that, guys, I'm saying remain positive as well, but like you will be way more positive because you see yourself getting an awful lot more things done, okay? And at a quicker rate and at a better rate as well. You know what I mean? It's going to be better quantity and better quality, okay? So with that, guys, you will remain positive, and it's down to yourself to remain positive. But it's one of those things that when you start seeing the return on the work that you're doing, then naturally your positivity will rise. So one of the key things with remote work, guys, is regular communication. Okay. So with this, guys, one of the whole ideas behind this presentation, I wanted to give an example of things that I know that can be of use to you that are free. Okay. So regular communication is key. So like naturally with some businesses, they might have Skype for Business set up, or they could use Slack or various other communication techniques or whatever. But ones that I always recommend is like there's a WhatsApp app and a Viber app, which is downloadable for your desktop computer. Okay. So it's really good to just have them set up on your computer because you'll be working away and still have communication going with people outside of work, which is actually really key. Just to keep things fresh as a little bit of a distraction. So that like, it's not work all the time and you don't feel that you're being completely taken over. FaceTime as well, and actually that's only available to iOS devices. But it's another one to use. So, like, guys, it's just regular communication is key. Now, there's one important point I want to mention too. This is only something I've learned myself as working remotely, is that however you're communicating, so whatever internal method of communication you and your business is using, always remember that when you are typing a response to someone, like using Skype or using Slack or whatever it may be, it's not down to how you write it. It's down to how the other person reads it. Okay, because when you are remote and you're typing a response, the person who you are having this conversation with can't see your body language. They can't see your facial expression. You might deliver the exact same content that you would if you were in person. But because they can't see you, they can't see your delivery of it. They can't see your facial expression or your body language to communicate. Oh, he's just having a laugh as he's doing that, that kind of way. Whereas if you were to write that exact same response, another person might read that very differently. Okay. So that's something just to bear in mind, guys. And it is something that I'd say a lot of people will actually come to realize when working remotely, that it is a bit of it's just something to be aware of. Okay. So a very, very key important point there, guys. So on to the final bit of the presentation here, guys, and I'm just going to mention some free tools. So naturally enough, what I wanted to highlight here is just tools that are free for anyone to use and is absolutely available to absolutely anyone. So I haven't kind of gone through Slack or Skype or Zoom or anything like that because generally speaking, they will always like there'll be a subscription cost associated with those. But so I have kind of put together two free tools here, guys. And to be honest, the more I think about it, guys, if you utilize these two free tools, you won't need to really spend money at all. Okay. So the first one I'm going to recommend is the Google Suite. So just to bear in mind, guys, that in the description of this video, if you look underneath the video, I have put in some links to some videos to just an intro to Trello and kind of like an intro to the Google Suite as well. Okay. So there's more information there if you want to kind of get in on it. But the Google Suite I want to mention. So naturally, Gmail is something that is industry standard, and nearly everyone has a Gmail account. And as a result of that, that's why it's a fantastic tool to actually utilize because it's accessible to so many people. The vast majority of people will have a Gmail account. So Gmail naturally, it's just your email and stuff like that. Really, really handy. But I put it down because it is absolutely kind of key and so widespread. But because of having a Gmail account, then you will have access to your Google Calendar. Okay, so your Google Calendar is key. I actually sync my Google Calendar with my Apple Calendar as well, so I have all my kind of like personal kind of dates and stuff saved as well as my business ones. So Google Calendar is insanely handy. Naturally enough, you can create meetings, you can have your full day laid out in front of you exactly what you need to do. But from using Google Calendar, we can also use Google Hangouts. Okay, so Google Hangouts is a tool that is exactly like Skype. It's just basically an online face-to-face tool where you can video conference with people. Okay, so it's very handy to set up a really quick hangout with someone. So let's say, for example, you're chatting to someone over Slack or something like that, or Skype or even Google Chat. You can create a really quick hangout and have a very quick 10-minute face-to-face that could save a half an hour typing responses to each other. So hangouts can be used like that, but they can be used for proper full-on meetings as well. So naturally, it's up to yourself how you utilize it, but it's there, it's free, it's 100% easy to use. From there as well, you have Google Chat. So Google Chat is just another version of Skype and of Slack, but again for free. So the only thing that you need for to have a chat with a person via Google Chat is to, and actually have a Gmail email address. So everything between Google Calendar, Hangouts, Google Chat is all linked up basically through a Gmail email address. Okay, so Google Chat exactly the same. You can just have it open exactly the same as Skype or anything like that, and you have your chat functionality right there and then ready to rock and roll. The final bit I'll mention in terms of the Google Suite, guys, is Google Docs. Okay, so I am saying Google Docs, etc. So with Google, you have Google Docs, you have Google Slides, you have Google Sheets. Okay, so Google Docs is essentially Google's version of Microsoft Word. Google Slides is Google's version of PowerPoint, and then Google Sheets is Google's version of Microsoft Excel. There we go. I got through that. So the great thing with all the Google Docs and Sheets and Slides and stuff like that, guys, is that you can actually collaborate with each other in real time. So instead of having to email versions of docs to each other and all that kind of stuff, all you do is just go to your Google Doc, to your Google Slides or your Google Sheet. From there, you can add an email address or someone can come in and collaborate, and you can collaborate on a document, both of you at the same time. Okay, so it's all saved in the cloud. You don't have to save it down onto your computer or anything like that. So as soon as you open the doc, you will always see the latest version of it. So very handy, very easy to use. But again, guys, this is all around free things for you to use. Really free, like 100% free, ready to rock and roll. So it's just 100% great to use. The final one I'm going to mention, guys, is Trello. Okay, Trello I use absolutely every single day. So basically, Trello allows you to create to-do lists. And from that, you'll be able to kind of see exactly what you have to do today. So you can create lists of what has to be done today. You set due dates to it. You can also collaborate with other people. So you can have a board. So let's say you have a marketing team, just as an example, you can create a marketing team board. You will see everything that has to be done today. You can assign different cards to different people depending on projects that they're working on. So Trello is an absolutely fantastic free tool. It's a project management tool. It's a click and drag kind of tool to use. Very quick, very easy to use, and 100% free. Okay. So with that, guys, when I mention about free tools, to be 100% honest with you, if you utilize Trello and the entire Google Suite, I genuinely can't see any other need that you would have working remotely. Okay, so they're really great tools, and just kind of check out as I said, the links to the demo videos underneath. So finally, guys, I just want to say once again, thanks very much for taking the time to check this out. I really hope it was of some value to you. Um, as you might have guessed, from working remotely is something I'm very passionate about, and I really do think it's going to be the future for the vast majority of companies and businesses out there. So if you do have any questions, any issues about working remotely, please do reach out to me. I'm more than happy to schedule a Google Hangout with anyone, take a half hour, and just kind of go through any questions or issues that you might have. So right there in front of you, you can see they're all my different handles for Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and then there's my email address. So please, guys, do reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help anyone in any way, shape or form in which I can. And just remember as well, guys, this isn't just for business. Okay, so this is for anyone, like, for teachers out there, looking for ways to be able to engage with students or anything like that. or even just people who are just kind of like really trying to get used to the whole idea of social isolation, and stuff like that. So, guys, I hope it all made sense. Thank you very much indeed, and we'll see you all later. Thanks very much.